Hey, we are going to get super, super meta today. And by that, I mean, we're going to be talking about live video on live video. And well, that's what my guest does best. But first, I want to tell you a story because this show started in January and I didn't always do live video, but I always talk to my clients about how live video and having a strategy for live video would explode their engagement, would engage their ideal clients and their audience. And that's what I always had done. So then I turned to practice what I preach, which I always recommend, with the support of a lot of people, including my next guest, Stephanie Liu. I'm super excited to have her here. And she is going to share with us how to harness the power of live video and how to use live video to captivate on command. And you are probably going to get so excited. You're going to turn around after this show and start your own live video. And I am all for it. So let's go ahead and talk to Stephanie Liu. But before that, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Amy Iram. I'm the founder of Capitalize Social Media, and I help life and business coaches gain visibility and increase impact using Facebook and Instagram and tactics that work. So I am super excited to bring on Stephanie. And we've got a couple of exciting things for you. We've got a giveaway. Stephanie's going to let you know of a giveaway you can win. Yay! And we're going to just keep chatting. So let us know, introduce yourself in the comments, and let us know what your favorite live show is, because we're definitely going to talk about live shows, what makes them exciting and fun, and how we can make them engage our audience. So without further ado, here's Stephanie Liu. Woohoo! Yay!
Hey,
I need like sound effects. Woo!
We could be our own sound effects.
Yay, Stephanie Liu's here. Exactly. Oh, Angela's here. Hey, Angela. Thanks for joining me. She's been on every single Coaches Go Social episode since the beginning. I just love her so much. Thank you for joining us. And I hope that you get a lot of value out of this. I know I am. And no pressure. We're talking about live video, how to make your live video better. Here I am having the expert. She's a live video expert. She is an NLP master trainer. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. So excited. So Stephanie, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. So it's funny, you guys. Amy was like, my show is usually at this time. And I was like, girl, I do homeschooling in the morning, so I have to get ready. So I had to get my hair done the night before. I slept in my little waveformers, and I was like, Amy, this is all for you, my friend.
I was so honored that you thought that far in advance to do your hair just for me, and I was happy to make your appearance a little bit later so you had enough time, because
for you,
I get the homeschooling.
Social media. Shout out to Sean. Sean has been watching wherever I appear these days, and he's like, Stephanie, whenever you point, you're always on it. I'm like, of course, because you have to know where you're pointing when you're doing your live video, right? It makes sense.
Exactly.
It makes it fun.
True. You have to know your platform and know your role. Exactly. Oh, thanks for being here, Sean. That's so fun. And Stephanie's here. Oh, I met Stephanie at Social Media Day, the virtual Social Media Day. Yay, Stephanie, thanks for being here.
Stephanie's awesome.
So let's talk about some live video strategies. Let's talk about how, we do a show and we want people to show up, and we want to engage our ideal clients, and obviously we're going to have a strategy behind it. But once they get there, how do we what are the strategies to get people engaged and excited about showing up for your show?
Well, that's funny, because it usually happens before the show even starts. It's not about when your show goes live and all of a sudden people are supposed to be excited. You have to be excited for the show. You have to get people riled up and super excited about it. You have to give them an opportunity where they're like, oh my God, I have to block out my calendar to be here for Capitalize Social Media, right? So to get people excited to show up, you have to understand, what is your show about, right? Why should they tune in? What is your show about? How is it going to impact their lives? And if they don't show up, what are they going to miss out? Right? Because then that's what gets people interested and excited about it. And the other thing too is that even if you don't do the pre-promotion part of it, be freaking excited for your show, Amy. You know, like, girl.
Oh, yay.
Excited. Because if you're excited about your show and your guest is excited about your show, then your audience is like, hey, I'm here for this. Okay, front row seat. Okay, come on. You know, let's close all the other browsers and be present and show up, because this is your opportunity to get all of your questions answered about live streaming. That's how I would say that you would get people really interested. Now, the other thing about that is I kind of laid a couple of things in there that are NLP related. So if you noticed, I had dropped what's called the format formula, which is the why, what, how, and what if. And it's really about telling people, again, why should they tune in? What is your show about? How it's going to impact them? And what happens if they don't tune in? Those 4 things, that's the why, what, how, and what if formula that you want to use in the beginning of your show to tell people why they should tune in. And then as your show goes on, you keep them in that open loop because they want to know. Those are all different audience learning styles. The why audience wants to know, why should I stop scrolling my newsfeed? It's like, oh, because of course it's Amy and it's Stephanie. I totally have to be here, right? And then the what audience is like, okay, if you're going to talk about live streaming, what specifically are you going to talk about? And honestly, you guys, that's going to be guided by you and the questions that you're going to ask, right? And then how is really during your live stream, how are you going to show them, right? So you do that. You either do that through your StreamYard and your screen sharing, and then if the what if audience is, well, what if I don't do live streaming? Well, you know, we'll see you in the back. Because they're the best that I live stream.
Before I go any further, live video always has exciting, unexpected events. And right now I'm hearing some weird audio feedback. And I don't know where that's coming from. So I just wanted to stop for a second and make sure that everyone can hear you. Okay, there you are.
Does this work?
There you are.
Yay! I don't know where I left off then.
Sorry, I didn't know. I want to interrupt you. I don't want anyone to miss any word that you said. But basically what I heard was that you know, the why. Why do you want to show up? And I know there's a big why you want to show up today. Not only that, oh my gosh, she's Stephanie Liu, like Tim is saying here, of course. But you have a giveaway. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that there's going to be a giveaway, and we are going to share how to enter this giveaway. Tell them what they can win, Stephanie.
All right, cool. So if you guys have been following along, I am working on giving away this Elgato HD60S Plus. And by you tuning in today, you will get 10 more entries. And actually, the giveaway ends tonight. So this is like your bonus episode to like swoop in there, sweep the leg, and get in there. So I'll drop that code in just a little bit. And when we do that, Amy will go ahead and scroll the ticker so you can see where you can enter. But over right now, you guys, we have about 4,200 entries. So you need to get in there and get the extra entries as much as possible.
Yay. So make sure you guys enter the contest, the giveaway. Tim, Roseanne. Hey, Roseanne. Angela, make sure you guys shout out. Sean, shout out to all the whys.
Shout out to all the whys. Yeah.
Everybody, you need to know. I mean, think about yourself. Like you have to, have a reason that you want to do everything, and you've got to know that your audience is the same thing. So you want to make sure they know what's in it for them. Yeah. So yay. Okay, good. The feedback is gone. 4,200 entries. That's a lot of people.
4,200 entries. Yeah, it's been running for a week. And to be very honest with you, I didn't promote it as much. I'm going to send it out to my email list. I'll share it out to my group because I want, you guys to win. I want people that like tune in, watch Lights Camera Live, and engage to actually have the opportunity to win. And so when I saw the numbers this morning, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, is right. Now, for some people that may not exactly know with that little cool devices in your hand, can you give us a little more of a description?
So if you notice, most people when they're live streaming these days, they'll either go live with the built-in camera on their laptop, their monitor, or they'll use a webcam. In my particular case, I like to use a DSLR because I love how it looks. And this is a capture card that allows you to use your DSLR and connect it to your live stream. That way you could have a different, higher quality show. So it makes it a ton of fun. It's the reason why this is so exciting for most folks is because it's really, really, really hard to get one of these days. Since live streaming had boomed since January and all of the COVID stuff, it's really hard to find that. Unfortunately, Elgato is also a fan of Lights Camera Live, so they sent over some goodies, and now I get to pass it on to you guys.
Yay. And Tim wants to know, how are you picking the winner? I know you have a cool program you're using, I think.
Yeah, so I'm using gleam.io, and that's how everyone's been earning the extra entries. And it's so easy. I get to like click a button and be like, boop, and then it goes, and then the winner will be announced. And then I first have to contact them to make sure that it's a real person, and that they're actually within the contest rules for it. And then once we've got like the okay, the agreement to release their names, and we'll release their names.
Perfect. So I'm going to enter and then I'm going to win. Sorry, guys. I do win crazy contests, I'm just going to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian's here. Tim's here. Yay, Sean. Sweep the leg. I caught that
Sweep
too.
the leg, yes. For all my 80s babies. So we're all
yeah. So if we've got people watching that maybe want to do their own live video, but they're like, oh, I'm so scared. Like I was, like literally like not even exactly a year ago, I was a different person as far as being in the mindset of actually like doing a live video. And here I am now, and I have Stephanie Liu on my show. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, I'm calm. So how do you get over your fear of live video? Like, what can you do if you really want to do it? Because we know that this is the key to really open up opportunities for our business. How do I get over that fear?
Well, and I love that you phrased it that way, because that's the thing. It's like when you run your own business, do you want the future of your business to be based off of decisions off of fear or off of confidence, right? And when you decide like, oh, I should be making decisions based off of confidence, that's when you start to realize the power of live video. And the mindset that you can do to empower you to show up on camera is first practice. Practice talking to the camera, because honestly, it's just you and the camera. Like I'm looking at it right now, and all I see is the reflection of my mouth, right? But in my peripheral vision, you guys remember this from driver's ed, right? In your peripheral vision, I could see Amy's face like right here, and I could see the comments popping over here, right? But when you're just starting out with live streaming, you're just talking to yourself. So you just have to get used to hearing the sound of your voice, get to used to seeing yourself on camera, and practice. I like to practice in a private Facebook group. There are times where I've invited my brother-in-law, like, hey, how's my lighting? How's my hair look? All of that stuff to just work up that confidence and work out my gear. This is something that you and I were even talking about, like, hey, I got like this new mic. Should I test it out? No, never do it before a show, right? So practice makes perfect. I think that's one. The second piece is really get into state, which is really get into that emotional state where you feel the most confident. Because when you're on camera, man, that authenticity, it just shines through. If you're faking it, you're faking it. People are like, man, that's not the business over there, right? So you want to show up confident, and you have to ask yourself, well, when do I feel the most confident? Is it when I step out of the shower feeling good, smelling good, playing like the best playlist, Like for me, girl, I put on perfume. I haven't left the house for like months, but I still put on perfume because it makes me feel good and it makes me look good. And so I'll show up on camera like that. And I think that's one of the ways that you could be confident on camera. So if you're used to like, man, I've been in my PJs all day, and then you're going to show up on camera, you might not feel that most confident. But if you're feeling fresh, if you're doing things where you feel the most confident before you come on camera, then that's what's going to help you. Thank you. Brian says my hair is looking fab today.
Yes, and if you have a wonderful hair day, that makes things even better. I love it. Oh, Angela says that she just did her first Facebook Live. A bit nerve-wracking, but that's the key. Exactly. Like getting the first one like out of the way and then going forward, because, I know that I put together recently a 6-month happy birthday, 6 months of Coaches Go Social. And I saw, yay, I'm so excited. It was so fun. But I saw the progression of like my first one, like my backgrounds, you could tell they needed some work, and then I switched my background and my lighting. And then, here I finally settled on like one that I really enjoyed, that it makes me confident and makes me excited to go on live video, that, it takes time, because you're figuring it out for yourself, and there's little nuances to figure out as well on the way. So, but kudos to you, Angela, for taking that first step. So very cool.
That's amazing, because Angela, you're probably thinking, that's the first step, but honestly, it's a total leapfrog over your competition, because your competition is still making those decisions based off of fear. And you're like, bye girl, bye. You know, you went over there and you're like, they're now looking at you, Angela, like, oh my God, how'd she do that? I want to be like her.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, huge leap in front of your competition, and you are getting to be able to connect with your audience just you know, on live video, which is there's just nothing like it. Yay, Mike Alton's here. Woohoo! Thanks for joining us, Mike. Yay, Sean. I always never worry about how my hair looks. Polka, yeah, well, I'm sure there's a little bit of, you know, like some gel in there or something. Whatever
That's
makes you
okay.
feel good. That's all that matters. Angela says perfume is trending now. I put perfume on. I put perfume on every day. It smells great. It makes me feel good. No one has to know. I think Tim said, I never forget, he asked his audience, he said, do you brush your teeth before you go on live video?
Oh
Like,
my
no
God,
one cares.
please do. Please do. Like, and okay, this is actually really funny because I know people that are grinding all morning long. They're like, man, I'm on my second cup of coffee. And then they go on camera. You're like, I know, because your teeth is yellow and you should have brushed it. No, it's true. Like if you're not brushing your teeth before you get on camera, you will be very, very self-conscious. You don't want that.
Right. It's almost, yeah, because it's part of like your normal routine. It's part of like what you do when you leave the house. So why not do the same things to keep you in that same routine?
Exactly.
For sure. So, thanks for being here, Brian. It's so good to virtually see you here. Take the leap. Yay. Yeah, Tim brushes his teeth too. I think it's important. Oh, Stephanie. Stephanie says, what recommendation do you have to practice the two-person live?
Ooh, that's a really great question. It's really going to depend on what platform you're using because you want to practice as if you're going live, right? So in this particular case, even with hanging out with Amy, she's like, how do I do this? And I was like, girl, you got to know your platform. This is what you do. You go to the settings and you da-da-da-da. But you want to focus first on what your platform is that you're going to use. And when you invite your other guests into the studio, you could create a private Facebook group. And people will tell you, oh, you know, you could go live on your personal profile and leave it as only me. Don't do that. And the reason why I say don't do that is because you want to see the progress of your work. You want to have the replay visible in the group so you could say like, oh, you know what? That lighting didn't work. Hey, you know what? I had knocked my mic because I love to talk with my hands and all that stuff. So create a private Facebook group, go live into that group. And during that practice session with your guest, that's where you're going to experiment with, well, how do I make one person full screen? How do I make the scrolling ticker? How do I do all of this? Because the more you practice, the more you have that muscle memory. Now, for those of us like Doc and Mike, where we have like a stream deck, you know, we're just like, oh, we want to change scenes, boop, push a button. It makes it really easy. But if you don't have that gear yet, then definitely practice and for sure do a private Facebook group. That's my take.
I like that tip too. I think it's really common for people to do the only me and just, you know, kind of say it, but that's not gonna to make it really, you know, allow you to see it and like what it's really gonna be like. So, and practicing, I know for me, Stephanie, before I do a live video, like I have a little, not like a script, but like an idea of what I'm gonna say for my opening. So I practice that a good handful of times, like sitting where I'm going to be sitting for my live video and actually like saying it out loud. Because, you know, I think the nerves come in and the nerves have come in. Oh, hey, Emma.
And the baby comes in too.
And the baby comes in. Oh, what you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I want something sweet.
Okay, I'll do something sweet in a bit.
Like a fruit launcher or a lollipop.
A lollipop, a Jolly Rancher.
But Daddy doesn't want to get it for me.
I'll get it for you in a bit.
I have a funny story about Jolly Ranchers with Tyler. Oh my gosh, he ate like a whole bowl of them at Grandpa's house a couple weeks ago. Anyways,
no, it was funny because I know like Brian and Doc, they're always waiting for like the Emma appearances. So I'm like, yeah, you know, just come.
Oh, see, yeah, I lock my door. Sorry, I'm a bad mom. You know, see, like you get to do your educational stuff on your iPad while I'm doing my live show, and but he comes in all the time on other instances, so that's why you won't see him today. But it's so good to see her. So, so nerves, like, you know, I think practice and nerves for me came like very close together. Like that's where I really realized, like, if I practice more, then I would be less nervous. And
Yeah.
so, but it's like the practicing that you don't want to do. And that's what I had like force myself to practice, because I know after I did it a few times and once I did practice, then it made me feel less nervous. And when you're less
Yeah.
nervous, you're more yourself, you're more confident, you can really connect with your audience a lot better because you don't feel those nerves. So as
That's
hard as it
true.
is, and as much as I would like to say, and I've surveyed a lot of public speakers about the same topic, actually, even if you've done live video or stage speaking for years and years and years, those people, even though they look like they have been,
We're
doing it for years and
practicing.
never have to practice, they practice a lot. And
We
you know that, yeah.
always practice.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the fun thing about it too is practice as much as you can and fail as much as you can before you actually do like your real show, because you want to fail forward, right? Because you want all the mistakes to happen during your practice session, because then you'll have to think on the fly of like, okay, how do I fix that? Like even now when we just had the feedback issues, I was like, oh, that's probably something that happened on my end. Boom, I'll fix it. But at least it's something that you know how to do during your practice, so that if it does happen on your show, then you could quickly, pivot as much as needed. Whereas if you've never had a failure before your live show, like, man, where is that oxygen mask?
that's what the little capitalized social media sign is for. So you need something. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, practice and going through it. We got a lot of comments here. And then have a friend like Steph that will practice with you and call you out where you need to improve. Yes, having a
That
buddy.
is very true. That
That's
is very
always.
true. Yeah, that's actually something that I wish more people would do. Is if something is happening on a show, if you see your friend being on a show and you're like, man, you could do that so much better if you just tweaked this, be that person, because probably no one's ever telling them, or like, they might have like this one time. Mike, this is probably your fault. I think Mike had delivered like Jamba Juice to my house, and it was like a green smoothie. And I was like, oh, this is perfect for before the show. And then I had like something green stuck in my teeth. And I was like, no one told me. But be that friend that's supportive and says, hey, you could take your show to the next level and do it in a way that's going to be constructive, and help your friends out, because some people are just learning live streaming, just getting started. And if you're like, oh, I won't tell them, they'll figure it out. It's like, man, if you know the shortcut, give them the freaking fast pass. It's like, this is how you could elevate your show just like that. Boom, go for it.
Exactly. I love that. Buddies, gotta have the buddies, live stream buddies. Tim's girls used to show up when Corona started during his shows. They don't anymore. Oh, well, you can always invite them in if you really wanted to. Oh, there's so many comments here. Oh my gosh, I wish I could talk about all of them. We only have
I love the hashtags. I love the stronger together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, for sure. Just when you practice with people and practice with someone that's going to be constructive, right? Because when you're just starting out, someone could sit there and tell you every single freaking thing that you're doing wrong. And I just saw your face. You're like, I don't want that. Like, you have to give someone like the feedback sandwich. Like, here are the good things that you did great. Or, and if you wanted to do something, how about you try this? What if you tried this? Then that's going to be very helpful. But, be picky about who your practice partner is. Because you don't want the crabs in a bucket. Have you heard that story?
No.
The crabs in a bucket?
Oh, hey, Heather.
Okay.
Yay. Now tell us the crabs in the bucket story. Heather wants to hear. She's all for it.
Heather's all for it. So crabs in a bucket. So when I was growing up, we lived in Japan, and there's a certain part of the beach where you can go like crab fishing. And what was always interesting is that my dad would always capture all these crabs and he would put them in the bucket. And I was like, hey, shouldn't we like cover the bucket so that the crabs don't come out? And he's like, no, don't you know? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, crabs have this tendency where if one crab is trying to get out of the bucket, another crab will pull them down. So crabs will never get out of the bucket. You don't have to do that. And so in your life, as you're live streaming, in your circle, as you build your business, you have to be very wary of the crabs in your circle. Is there someone that's just going to pull you down? Or is it going to be someone that's going to be constructive and lift you to the next part of your show? So think about that. Again, if you're practicing, if you're nervous, you create a private Facebook group, know who you can invite to give you that constructive criticism, because there's a lot of crabs out there, girl.
Oh my goodness. I never knew that, number one. And that's really good advice too, because you have to be, have the right people in your circle. I think that's really important. Okay, so we're almost, I'll keep my show till 11 o'clock and we have to go over because we need more of Stephanie Liu, then we're going to do that as long as she has the time. But Linda asked a really good question. I think that leads into our last topic that we're talking about. She's so curious, how has NLP changed how you speak, live streaming, or in real life? Not sure if this is a place to inquire. Yes, this is the place to inquire, because the last thing we really want to talk about is how to deliver a spellbinding presentation. And I know NLP has something to do with that.
Oh, absolutely. So here's the thing is that Amy, I don't think I've actually ever told you this story. So here's another story for you, Brian, and everyone else. But when I first had my daughter, I was probably like 40 pounds overweight. I was thinking about leaving the agency because I figured if I could do it for Nike Sephora Clinique, I could sure as heck do it for myself. But I was putting certain rules on myself. I was saying I could only go live. I can only do video if I lose this much weight. And then I'll buy myself new clothes. And then I'll do this. And then I'll do that. And I realized, man, I would never even say that to my best friend. I wouldn't say like, Amy, you can't be on camera unless you lose X weight, unless you fix your hair a certain way, then you could be on camera. And that for me was like the biggest mindset shift. And NLP helped me in that sense of knowing, man, we're all doing the best that we can with the resources that we have. And so in my first NLP training, what they taught me was something that was called basic anchoring. And basic anchoring in the sense of whenever I need to feel confident, I could push down on this knuckle, because all of my favorite memories of when I felt the most confident, when I sealed the deal, when I was brilliant in the boardroom, where I killed it on the stage, is all right here. And I could push it right there. And so that was the first thing that helped me as far as overcoming my fear and getting on camera, becoming confident. So that's one thing that NLP can help you with. The second piece is really how to tell a story, how to captivate an audience. And so that's something that we talked about earlier about the format formula, which was actually developed by Dr. Bernice McCarthy, because she was an educator, Amy. And you're going to find this really interesting too, because you and I have been talking about homeschooling. But students learn in different ways. And students ask by asking certain questions. There's the why audience, right? Like Sean, he wants to know, why is this important? What are the terms that you're going to teach me? How do I do this, right? So that's why even with my daughter, we ordered like a butterfly kit, because I wanted her to learn how butterflies become insects. And then what happens if blah, blah, blah. But when you know that structure, when you know that format, when you understand learning styles, then you could communicate in a way that's much more effective. Even throughout this whole entire show, this is the part where it gets meta, Amy, because I know that you love this. You will have noticed that throughout the entire show, I've communicated in different ways. I've communicated visually, where I'm like, I'm super excited. I'm jumping from one thought to the other, because you and I, we're visual communicators. It doesn't matter if we don't finish our sentence. It just matters that we're present and we're showing up, right? For an auditory learner, where they're like, man, I just came here to listen. That's where when you communicate, you have to enunciate your words. You have to slow down a little bit. Even when I'm on a podcast, I have to take my time, right? When I'm kinesthetic, if you're a kinesthetic communicator, then I have to tell you stories. I have to emote. I have to give you that feeling to keep you along for the ride. Good so far? And then there's the auditory digital audience, as far as how they learn, and they want to know processes and frameworks. And so everything that I've taught you as far as format, that's how it works. Though the Heather who was asking about NLP, even just knowing the process of NLP and how that helps you with speaking is everything. It's everything. And you learn so much as an NLP practitioner, the basic anchoring, the format formula. When you go into master practitioner, that's when you start to learn things about hypnotic language phrases and how you get someone just on the edge of their seat, like, oh my gosh, where is this going? It's knowing your intonation and the rhythmic flow from going from one point to the other. So you could even watch this replay and reverse engineer it if you want to, but there's a lot of NLP just in there. Hope that helps.
I love it. I love it. Oh yeah. Linda, look at her. Look out, baby. Oh yeah, this is definitely resonating with everybody. And Heather's been reading a book on NLP, so she definitely resonates. Loves that you shared your story. Yeah, I didn't know that about you either. So that was a cool little story that, you know, it's cool too, because when we share our stories and we share like where we've come from, there's a lot of people that have that similar story, and that's how you can really connect. And that's the beauty of live video. And I love how you're able to incorporate the NLP strategies and the techniques and things into live video, and how that can really help up-level your business, your life, everything. Just, I think, by the principles of psychology, right? This isn't like some crazy stuff. This is like actually
it's psychology
like real.
and neuroscience. Like, I don't spend a lot of days on social media these times, you know, lately, because I try to stay away from my news feed. I'm very conscious and very aware of how that makes me feel and if it actually has an impact on my productivity. But if you were to ask me, like, Stephanie, well, where do you hang out online? You know, I read a lot of neuroscience journals. I read a lot of Psychology Today. There are articles that I do. If I'm in a bad mood, like even, you know, when you and I were talking before the show, I was telling you that I love stand-up comedy. I love Dave Chappelle. I love Kevin Hart. I love Ali Wong. And that's why I'm so happy right now, is because I was cracking up and I anchor all of like my laughter right here. And it just lights up my whole entire face. That's another way that anchoring helps in NLP for your show. But I do it for myself a lot.
I think that's an awesome way. Oh, here comes Emma. Is she gonna make an appearance again?
No, she's waiting for her snack.
Her Jolly Rancher, her lollipops. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, well, before we go any further, because we're pretty much almost out of time, but I want to make sure that you remind people, we got the link down below, so how you can win.
Yes. So you guys are going to get 10 extra entries today just by tuning in. And the secret code for today is CGS, as in Coaches Go Social. So CGS, jump in there and you will have access to that. That'll give you 10 more extra entries for today, which I'm super excited about because it does end tonight. So you got to jump in there and get in it.
Yes. Get those entries. Be a winner. Well, we're all winners because we got to spend so much time with Stephanie Liu today, sharing all of her fabulous advice. And now we don't have live shows already. We're going to start them. And if we do, we're going to make them even better because we want to make sure that everyone knows why they're watching your show. I mean, that's so huge. And there's, you know, lots of other things that we can continue to talk about, but we'll have to just leave it at that for now. Come back and watch
Stephanie,
the replay if you missed the beginning.
Stephanie is asking if those are I's or L's. Those are L's. So it's like bit.ly LCL, as in Lights Camera Live, Elgato.
Lowercase. I'll put it in the chat too, so you guys can do it.
You're good. And shout out to to Sean, to Brian, to Tim, to Mike. I know you guys are all entering the giveaway. I feel like people are gonna flip tables. They're gonna be like, what? But don't worry, because, and then we'll end the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Oops, wrong way.
No. And because I have a couple of other gifts from Elgato to give out. So there's more freebies for all you friends.
I put the wrong link the first time. Sorry, guys. The second one's the right one. But LCL, Elgato, just like the cat. Elgato.
Yeah, Elgato.
Yay. All right, make a play. Oh, Sean's got a last. Let's leave us on Sean's note. Make a place, if possible, to sit down and turn on the camera. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, get, FaceTime your family members, all of that. So just get used to seeing yourself and hearing yourself on camera. It's actually a really beautiful transformation, Amy, when you're working with a client and you've heard their stories, their reasons for why they haven't been on camera, because they're like, I don't like my hair, I don't like this, blah, 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 blah. And when they finally overcome that hurdle and they start to see the beauty inside of themselves and they realize that's what other people see, and you see that happen on camera, it's the most beautiful and rewarding experience ever. Yay.
Oh, I just got goosebumps. Aw. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Emma, for making so many cameo appearances. You're so cute. She's pacing now. There we go. Okay, we gotta go. Emma's getting impatient. Just kidding. Yay. Well, thank you, everyone. To make sure to get entered into the giveaway, and make sure to join us on the next Coaches Go Social in exactly 2 weeks from today. My friend and fellow live streamer Tim Sohn will be joining us, and we'll be talking about live video again. This whole month we're talking about live video. So if you have any questions and you want any support, make sure to reach out to me. I would love to help you. So yay, thanks everybody for joining us. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Emma, say Coaches Go Social.
Go social.
Yay. I love it.
Coaches Go Social.
Go social.
Woohoo. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.